To be elected Biden and Harris, Democrats must win in Congress according to Donna Brazile. With a TV and online audience that can exceed 35 million viewers, Biden and Harris have an incredible opportunity. The first virtual political convention in U.S. history opens Monday when Democrats gather in cyberspace to nominate former Vice President Joe Biden as my party's presidential candidate and California Senator Kamala Harris as Vice President. This marks the real start of the campaign to defeat President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence and restore competent leadership in our nation. President Trump has turned out to be one of the worst presidents we have ever had. He focuses on his personal interest above the national interest and has no idea how to serve as president. Trump clearly envies the dictatorial powers of his good friend and campaign supporter Russian President Vladimir Putin, repeatedly ignoring the constitutional and legal limits on the power of the U.S. presidency. And Trump knows that as long as his Republican Party is in control of the U.S. Senate, senators won't kick him out by condemning him for anything, whatever he does and how many times the House or U.S. officials impeach him. It means the only way to remove the Trump-Pence team from office is to elect it, overcoming Trump's desperate efforts to suppress the vote and degrade the U.S. Postal Service in a year when a record number of voters will vote by mail, due to the coronavirus pandemic. At the Democratic Convention, Biden and Harris must show the American people how they will work together to restore the soul of our nation, fight for working families, and move our country forward. With a TV and online audience that could exceed 35 million viewers, Biden and Harris have an incredible opportunity to walk out of their convention with a lead in national polls that may be too big for the Trump-Pence team and the Republican Party. Overcome on November 3. So what must Biden and Harris accomplish at their convention before Trump takes center stage at the Republican National Convention, America's second virtual national political convention, next week? In just 8 hours of national television over 4 nights, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., Biden, Harris, and other leading Democrats who speak to the American people will have to highlight the priorities of a Biden-Harris administration and platform of the Democratic Party, and explain what the new administration will accomplish in its first 100 days. Most importantly, all convention speakers will need to inspire the American people. They must both unify the Democratic Party and tell us how they are going to unify and heal our country. Biden and Harris must show, through their words and actions, that they and other Democratic candidates, for the U.S. Senate, House, states, and local offices, have heart and soul, character and experience, as well as empathy and commitment to heal the deep wounds and bridge the wide gaps created by the Trump-Pence years. Democrats must tell the American people that now is the time to start a more positive and hopeful chapter in our history. A chapter that will end the seemingly endless battle of the haves against the have-nots. And they have to tell us that the American people can win our country back from Trump and his Republican Party enablers who have wreaked havoc and discord for nearly 4 years. Can the Biden-Harris ticket and the Democratic Party accomplish all of this in just 8 hours over 4 nights? Can Biden and Harris cheer us up and send us home inspired to get the vote out for them, Democrats, Independents, and tired Republicans? Can Democratic candidates across the country walk out of the convention with a big bounce in the polls? Since 1952, the average rebound in agreements has been 3%. But no one knows what the average rebound of virtual conventions is. Biden and Harris will innovate. Team Biden-Harris could match or even surpass the 3% average rise in opinion polls, but it won't be easy. Nothing in politics ever is. Especially in a deadly pandemic where almost all campaign events are conducted virtually. So listen up, Democrats. Here's precisely what you need to do at this week's convention and in the weeks to come to host the Victory Day in November and beyond. Focus on the character of our democracy, our society, and our leadership in the world is at stake in the next election. Every night, and with every speaker and video, Democrats must show America and the world that Biden, Harris, and the Democratic Party will fight to restore the heart and soul of our great country. Listen to ordinary Americans. In addition to pitching our top candidates and elected officials, Democrats should showcase frontline first responders in the fight against the coronavirus, frontline community organizers fighting for racial justice, teachers, dreamers, environmentalists, and others who share our American experience. These are the people Democrats fight for and the people who work hard to build a better future for all of us. Listen to Republicans. Former Governor John Kasich, R. Ohio, will address the Democratic National Convention because he is a great American who puts the interests of our country and his state ahead of his personal and political interests, quite a contrast with Trump. Kasich unsuccessfully sought the Republican presidential nomination in 2016. He loathes Trump and is saddened by the way the president has turned another political party into a cult personality worshipping Trump. We should also hear from former Trump supporters in Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin explain how they realized Trump is a con artist who does not deserve their votes this year. Broadcast a message of unity. The United States of America is an incredibly diverse county. This diversity is reflected in the Biden-Harris ticket and in the big tent that is the Democratic Party. And this diversity is the greatest strength of our party and our country. Tell the American people that we rise and fall together. In order to form a more perfect union, we need to emphasize how similar we are as Americans and how much stronger we are together. This is the exact opposite of how Trump exploits our differences and stokes the flames of racism and other forms of bigotry for his short-term political gain. Focus on the issues that really matter to the American people. Democrats need to do the opposite of Trump and speak honestly about what they want to do about the coronavirus pandemic, our weak economy and high unemployment, racism, crime, immigration, climate change, energy, and other major issues. In other words, they should act like adults, unlike Trump. Trump tweets endlessly and stupidly, and he walks around at a press conference on minor things, criticizing athletes, artists, journalists, Democrats, and even Republicans who dare to say a bad word about him. Like a spoiled 5-year-old, Trump complains about how unappreciated he is, how his opponents are traitors for daring to question him, and how any news that exposes his lies and misconduct is fake news. Tell the truth. It's a foreign concept to Trump. As of July 9, the Washington Post's fact-checker column reported that Trump had made 20,055 false or misleading statements during his first 1,267 days in office. The newspaper gathered all of Trump's lies in a database. Discuss plans to reaffirm American leadership abroad and strengthen democracy at home. In doing so, don't forget to honor the formidable legacy of Rep. John Lewis. Who passed away last month, by calling for the renewal of the Voting Rights Act to ensure that all eligible Americans can vote safely. Year and forever. During their convention, Democrats must keep these last words from Lewis to the country he loved, published posthumously in the New York Times on July 30, in their hearts and souls, even though I can't be not here with you, I urge you to answer the highest call of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. Now it's up to you to let freedom ring. Freedom rang when Biden picked Harris as his running mate last week. Members of the Democratic Party must stand up for what we truly believe and continue to let freedom ring in the Democratic National Convention, and every day in the future, so that we massively defeat Donald Trump and Mike Pence on November 3.